Brian Gregory, thanks for being in the hot seat. Not only are you a member of Boss Academy, but you're also one of our sponsors. And that relationship has made a great deal of sense because when I met you, the Admanity tools stood out as game changing products for small businesses. You show us how to emotionally connect with buyers. You have a brand and marketing assessment tool that takes 5 minutes to go through, but the output is so impactful. And as members of Boss Academy, they get upgraded to the full report, which is a just an invaluable product. So we're really excited to have you in the hot seat today. We're really grateful for all the support you give to our members. But I'm curious, when it comes to the work you do, what are the outcomes that clients get working with you?
Well, the whole motivation to get this whole thing started, it's a monster project, and it just seems like it's never done. But the real missing link that we feel out there is for 99% of small businesses, which is pretty much most of us, they're never going to get to see the inside of an agency due to the cost. And so we're trying to be the agency for the 99% at a fraction of the cost. So the first thing they'll find out is whatever we give them, whatever they opt for out of our myriad of products, it'll be a fraction of the cost of what the rest of the world is probably wanting to charge them. The second benefit is that they're maybe for the first time, they're truly going to understand why people are going to say yes to them. You know, it's the word we want to hear every day in business. If you heard yes all day, you'd be a zillionaire, right? We hear no too much. And if you're hearing no too much, it just means you're presenting yourself improperly. So we want to show you what to do to get the yes, why the mind processes subconsciously, and how you can just flip the script. And those two things save you a pile of money, but really give you the answers that school never did.
I went to school for copywriting. I've been a copywriter over the years. I use copywriting all the time. The Admanity tool has changed how I write copy. It's changed how I try and connect with people emotionally. And you've given me permission, and I think other people permission to be a little bit bolder with how they approach people. But from your perspective, what's the payoff to people when they embrace the Admanity tools?
I think we all live in our conscious minds most of the day. We're conscious thinking, talking people right now. And most of the time you feel conscious, you know where you are and what's going on all around you. That's your job as a human being. It's the subconscious, however, that makes all the purchases and all the decisions. So one of the things we want to do to sort of help them get a payoff right away is to make it easy to implement on day one. Read a chapter and you can implement. You can see the words you're supposed to be using, implement them. You can see the colors you're supposed to be using, put them to work. I mean, none of the changes we're going to suggest are going to affect your day-to-day operations. We're going to show you how to present yourself to the world in a way that the world wants to hear more. And the interesting thing is, once you learn your primal emotions for your brand, your formulas for your brand, you're never going to worry about ads or social media or posts or, oh, what am I going to do in the marketing thing? What am I going to say to people when I'm, networking about my company? I've only got a minute. You're never going to worry about that again. We're going to show you exactly what to say. And it's so bonehead simple. It's like caveman simple. Your knuckles might even drag on the ground after reading it. It's one of the side effects. You just start thinking a little more primally, which and that's a cha-ching. Okay, that makes money.
There's a lot there that you just said, but from that and from the work you do, what's the secret to getting these outcomes?
Well, I think you have to put things in a way that people can understand it. Boy, did we learn that lesson. If you think we're perfect, we're not. On our first day of launch, we probably confused every single person that came and that showed up as we were trying to figure out how to make something that was so massively had so much depth to it, appear to be simple. And we give you a private portal that is just filled with resources. You can go use it at your own discretion. We give you unlimited consultations. You can book Zoom calls, and we don't charge you for them. We give you easy to understand principles. 1 + 2 = 3. If you can do 1 + 2 = 3, you're a winner. Videos. We basically teach you what works on humans. School should have taught you this. I apologize for all schools that didn't teach you this, because you're in business now. And if you knew this going in, it would have been a lot more fun. But now that you know where you can get that information, hopefully you can catch up a little bit and get ahead of the rest of the lucky people that you hear about out there who make $1 zillion a minute and seem to have this charmed existence. Their existence isn't charmed. Their methods are correct. And that's the difference.
I've been really fortunate to get to work with you and Roy, your partner. And I know a little bit about your story. 7 years of sacrifice building this tool out. And this was something that there was a lot of challenges that went into this. I'm sure there was times where it's like you thought, man, is this worth it? But today you've got this amazing product. But ultimately, what's driven you? Why do you do it?
Well, my background. I owned magazines and newspapers before I got into all this, and I was literally kind of sickened. You hear this 80% rule: 80% of small businesses fail, and everybody just loves to quote that, and it's probably true. But I looked at my magazine one day and I realized, hey, I sold 3,000 ads. That's a lot, but in my magazine there's only 100. What happened to the other 2,900 people who gave me money, who are no longer here? I'll tell you what happened. The ad didn't work and they left, because that's what happens. When ads don't work, people don't keep paying for them. So our goal is to give away 1 million tests, and for free, to any small business that wants. And I don't care what it is, and I don't care what country you're in. If you can speak English, you can understand what we're going to try to teach you, to try to raise that number up, or actually lower the 80%, because if every business understood what really works, that 80% wouldn't ever need to happen. And you'll never probably be able to pay for $50,000. I mean, Joe Szynski, I know you've worked for some pretty big companies that had those kinds of budgets. And if you have that, that's an awesome thing to have. But most of us are going to have to figure it out on our own. That's why I do it. I'm just like you. I had nothing when we started this. I had some savings and some extra time. So, we're all building something together. And I feel like I'm more like you than even some of the famous people that we model ourselves after.
Well, I would ask a final question of what it's like to work with you, but I think from this discussion, people can kind of get an idea that it's a pretty amazing process. But what can you add to the process when somebody comes on board with Admanity? What's the first thing that they're going to be doing?
Well, they won't be spending money, which, believe me, my investors have given me more than 1 or 2 constructive meetings about that. Hey, it's a free test. You come into our world with a free analysis. Then there's a free consultation. Then you get 100 free lessons via email on marketing, branding, copywriting, and anything else. You get access to your free portal for life. And we're just hoping you buy something, buy a photo, buy your report, get into YesPack for $89. Or our newest product, $4,000 Pro Pack for the agency and the expert business consultant. And of course, even the consultations are free. So, really just get involved, give it a shot. Most of the stuff's free anyway. So if you don't like it, you can always run away screaming, and you haven't spent 1 penny. And because we don't want anybody here that doesn't want to be here. And so if you haven't tried us, try us. And if you have, thanks. Let us hear from you. And I loved hearing the stories from the press release results and the Yes Capital results. And it's just great. That's what keeps me going, is
I
hearing
love it.
from you guys.
Well, Brian Gregory, thanks for being a great supporter of Boss Academy. Like I said, your company is a sponsor, you're a member, you're a friend, a lot of people in here. So we're grateful for all you do. So thank you.
Thanks so much. It's been great, Paul, and it'll continue to be great.